Good morning once again. Um, I welcome you again to this tutorial. And today, what we want to start by looking, we'll start by looking at the structure of shipping companies. Um, in this, what we are going to look at here is that we're going to look at how the shipping company is being managed, who is at the top, who is at a given level of interaction, or who is at the lowest rank. So there are various. There's those executive members. We have the operation departments. We have the technical departments. We have the purchasing department. So these are some of the things which you want to look at. So just like uh, any other business, normally we have got what we call the hierarchy uh, of an organization's hierarchy, which shows the leadership structure right from the top up to the lowest person in that particular company. So a shipping or a logistic company is a kind of a company which is involved in the courier services, uh, shipping of various products and logistic services. And there is a lot of documentation, communication, and coordination involved in running such company. And all this cannot be done without the involvement of various departments and the employees. So, having that the back of the mind, there is a certain hierarchical structure followed within the shipping company, according to which jobs and responsibilities are divided department-wise and position-wise. So, in order to understand this properly, we have a company hierarchy, which is illustrated here. So we can see here the way it is sorted, as you can see there in your screen. The top level executive consists of the chairman, the board of directors. We have directors. We have the GM or the general manager. We have partners, and we have owners. That is at the top level executive. Then we have the technical team. These are the people who ensures that the operation is being performed, or the ship is operating the way it is supposed to be. So we have the technical superintendent, technical president, fleet managers, technical staff, repairmen, auto maintenance. Then we have purchase and procurement. These are the ones who are served with the responsibility to look for cargo. So they have the operation teams, the finance and the marketing departments. Then the finance directors, the marketing manager, marketing executives. We have finance executives, accounting head, advertising managers, etc. So briefly, we can look at the brief explanation about these particular hierarchical levels. So the top executive, as we said, of shipping company are individuals who are responsible for running the organization, looking after the various operations, and making sure that the finances and the accounts are handled well. This is where the core business is. If the top level executive do not perform their duties as required, then the company will automatically fall. So these people, they must be people who are experienced, people who have got the required expertise skills to ensure that every operation is done as per the requirement. So they include uh, the BODs, as I said, the president, GM, chairman, just the same way they said. So then we have the technical team. This is a team of workers who handle the technical aspects of the business and make sure that the department like the fleet, repair, run smoothly. And some of the jobs position in the technical teams, we have the technical superintendent, technical president, fleet managers, just the same way we highlighted them there. Then we have purchase and procurement. This is another vital department of shipping company. Their main job is to communicate with suppliers, ship chandlers, and other such entities to procure licenses, purchase new fleet. And this team, they work in guidance and collaboration with the technical team. So, like for example, if the purchase or the procurement department, they want to purchase a new ship, they cannot just decide by their own, then they go and buy a ship name. No, they must coordinate with the technical department, because it is the technical department who will give them uh, the the specifications of the best ship according to the business which they want to perform. So they cannot just decide, yes, they're the one who make the purchase decisions, but the moment they have agreed on that, then the next thing is to consult the technical team about the best specification for that particular ship. The same even happens to not only to the shipping, even in other organizations. When you want to buy something, maybe an equipment, then if you have a technician, then you as a manager or you as a procurement officer, before you decide to go out and buy that particular thing, then consult the technical team or the technician about the best specifications, so that you don't buy something and when you bring it, then they reject it, that is not suitable for the position or for the job which you purchase it for. Then we have the operations team. Um, this is the department which is responsible for ensuring that all operations of the shipping takes place smoothly, uh, on time, and within the required budget. So the team is headed by an operational head and may have several other employees as well. So the employee of this team are required to get port clearances, um, local agent appointment, etc. Then again we have the finance and the marketing department. Now they are engaging respectively in finance and marketing related activities. And some of the job positions which are found under is we have the finance director, we have the marketing manager, executives, marketing executives, we have finance executives, we have accounting head, and also we have the advertising manager. Then we have fleet personnel department. Their main concern is the recruitment and management of the sailing staff, that is the crew. They make sure that the fleet personnel are qualified, well trained, and are competent. So that is their role. So if it is a matter of hiring the crew, that role will be given to them. So that is all about the hierarchy in shipping operations, how it is arranged. So who is at the top, who is at the middle on the operations, the finance, and all that. So that is all you need to know there. Now, straight away, I want us to move to chapter 3. And in chapter 3, what we are going to talk about here is the role of organization overseeing shipping practice and vessel management. So we do have various organizations which are concerned about the management of shipping, or ensuring that the shipping operations are being performed in the right way. So one of the areas we are going to check, or we are going to look into, is the importance of classification societies in the maritime industry. We have what we call classification societies. Now, these are the bodies who are mandated, or who are given the authority to check that the ships are in good condition, and they classify them, or they give them a certificate, which means that these ships have the ships have adhere to all the conditions that are required. So we have various classification societies. We have like the Lloyd's of London, we have the Bureau Veritas, we have Jamnisha Lloyd, we have Kainji Kyokai. So there are various, and their role is always to inspect the ship once the ship has been constructed, and once they have inspected that particular ship, they give it what we call a certificate of class. And also they also help in allocation of what we call the plimsoll mark, or what we call the watermark, that allows the ship to sail at a given water level, or determining the amount of load which can be loaded in a given ship uh, depending on the region or the tropics where that particular vessel is trading, whether it's in the tropical fresh, whether it's uh, the salty water, all that. So there's the matter of buoyancy and all that. So it calls for uh, the experts' knowledge, or the experts to advise on where that mark is supposed to be located on the ship's hull. So a classification society is required to notate grades or classes for vessels, and vessel structuring, its maintenance, along with the structuring aspects of various constructions located in the high seas. So a classification society for ships helps to achieve the following. One, they help in coming up with a detailed notational system for the vessel and construction to be graded. Then also ensuring that the vessel and the constructions comply with this grading system by carrying out appropriate appraisals. They also assign the required class or grade to the vessel and continued appraisals to ensure that the vessel adherence to the prescribed class notations. So right from the blueprint of the vessel, that is the plan, its constructional aspects, the classification societies are required to pay strict attention. So see this, these societies, they are involved right from that plan, the blueprint of the ship. If it is a container ship, once the naval architects have drawn it, then the classification society need to come and study it before even the construction starts, so that they know that, okay, with these specifications which are put here, they are suitable for this particular type of ships. However, there are certain omissions like individual inspections of parts of and components utilized in the ships or any other marine construction structuring. So the societies have been incorporated in the maritime system quite seamlessly. They have been a vital cog in the overall maritime operation for more than 2 centuries. So they have been very, very important, and an early development quite likely, quite unlikely, any. Then we have what we call the flag of convenience. We have various types of flags. There's flag of convenience, there's flag of courtesy. The flag of convenience normally shows the nationality of that ship. It shows the port where that ship was registered. Remember, a ship is one of uh, the most cheapest assets to own and manage. The only toughest thing is in the shipping is to buy a ship. But once you purchase a ship, there are very less restrictions when it comes to management of that ship. In that you can buy a ship. Let's say, for example, you're a Kenyan, you buy your ship, and you decide that your ship is not going to be registered in Kenya. You go to these countries which offer the open registry. Like in Africa here, we have Liberia. You approach Liberia, then you register your ship in Liberia. The moment you do that, this ship can sail anywhere. You avoid the taxations, high taxations in your home country, and you make your profit. Okay. So ship normally flies 2 flags. There is one flag at the short mast and there's one at the top mast. So the one which is at the short mast, either at the stern or at the aft, that's at the front part, at the fore or at the stern. That is at either the front part or the back part, and again at the topmost part. So those two flags, they have got meanings. One, if you see one either situated at the back of the ship or in the front of the ship, that flag shows the country where that vessel was registered. Okay, it shows the port of registry. If it is Panama, it will be flying the flag of Panama. If it is Liberia, it will be flying the flag of Liberia. At the topmost mast, we have another flag flying there, and this one is called flag of courtesy. Now, the flag of courtesy is a flag that shows respect to the territorial waters of that country in which you are trading at the moment. For example, if the ship is trading in Kenyan's waters, at the topmost mast, you'll see Kenyan flag being flown there. And at the short mast, you'll see another flag of another country. Okay, and that one shows the country where it was registered. Then when the ship leaves the Kenyan's waters and maybe enters Tanzanian's waters, then the Kenyan flag at the topmast will be lowered and they'll raise the Tanzanian flag. That is called the flag of courtesy. So, the right of states to confer nationality to ships come with a number of responsibilities. These duties are provided for within the UNCLOS and in several international conventions. So this report is on the flag state duties laid down under the Article 94 of the UNCLOS 1982. However, other articles in the conventions also confers to the duties of flag states. Article 1943 and 216 provide flag state responsibility with respect to pollution of the marine environment. And that is the pollution. When talking about the pollutions of the marine environment, this is you go to another international convention, and that is called MAPOL. Marine pollution. Okay. So we have got various articles concerning this. Article 94.1, General Statement of Duties. These sections makes explicit the matters on which the flag state should exercise jurisdiction. It provides that every flag state be required to effectively exercise its jurisdiction and control in administrative, technical, and social matters over ships flying its flag. So, for instance, what we mean here is that if, for instance, a ship is flying Liberian flag, then Liberia is required to effectively exercise its jurisdiction and control in administrative of that particular ship, the way it is being run, technical and social, in the social matters. Okay. Now, Article 94.2, maintain register and assume jurisdiction. That flag states are required to maintain a register of ships flying its flag and to assume jurisdiction under its internal laws over each ship. So its masters as well as its crew in administrative, technical, social matters concerning the ship. So it is important to note that beyond the requirement that the register should contain the names of the ships and particulars, no further requirement were specifically mentioned within this provision. So maintain the register is required that if you register with a given country, that country must maintain the register of that ship which is flying its flag. Okay, so that if you are called that this particular ship, Liberian ship, has caused some accident, then you must refer to your register and say, yes, that is our ship. Okay. And then we have Article 93, 94.3 and 4, construction. It's talking about the construction, equipment, and the seaworthiness of the ship. Now here, flag states are imposed with the obligation to ensure the safety with regard to the construction, that the ship is properly constructed, equipment, all equipment required are there, is in good state, it employs crew who have been well trained, and it has got good communication equipment which are also well maintained. Then UNCLOS Article 217C of the or 217.2 of UNCLOS extends that the scope of 94.3, it requires the flag state to ensure that its vessels are prohibited from sailing until they can proceed to sea in compliance with the requirement of the international rules and the standards with regard to the design, construction, and equipment of that particular vessel. Then Article 94.4 provides that measures be taken by flag state must include those necessary to ensure that each ship before registration and thereafter at appropriate interval is surveyed by qualified surveyors of ships. Now, ship survey is a very, very important thing. Once the ship has been registered and it is operating, then they need to be inspected just to ensure that everything is functioning well. So that must be there, and that is captured in Article 94, subsection 4. That they check that highs on board, such as the charts are functioning, nautical publications are up to date, navigational equipment are well maintained, or they're functioning well, and the instruments are appropriate for the safe navigation of the ship. So it also stresses that ship officers and the crew should possess appropriate qualifications and adhere to international regulations to guarantee safety and prevent pollution and collisions. So furthermore, international law empowers states to issue their flags to an individual merchant ship or fishing vessels. So as part of their responsibility to other state, each state has the obligation to confirm seaworthiness research. So do adequate due diligence before issuing registration and may deny or revoke registration to problem ships or repeat offenders. Okay, that is according to Anastasia of 2013. So if you keep on repeating the same offense, they can revoke your registration. Okay, and there, remember, you will not be allowed to sail now. Okay, so you must maintain good relations with these flag states. Okay. Now, in Article 94.5, conformity with international regulations. Now, similar to 94.3 and 4, subsection 5 of the same articles, says that the flag states are required to conform to generally accepted international regulations and procedures in practices, and to take any steps which may be necessary to secure their observation. So you must observe the law. Okay, remember, you are operating under the law, so you must observe that. If it is about the marine pollutions, the MAPOL, observe that. Safety of life at sea, the SOLAS, observe that. Okay, so while each state remains free to apply its own legal requirement as regards to safety, there will be chaos if these requirements widely varied or were incompatible. So flag states by this article are under obligation to take any step necessary to ensure observance to generally accepted international regulations and procedures. So including those related to safety, what I was talking about, the safety there, we call the SOLAS, the marine pollution, they also call the MAPOL, and the maintenance of radio communication. So all these ones must be done. Okay, we know, yes, each country of registration, they have their own legislation, but international, being shipping is a global trade, so we cannot leave each country to enact their own laws or to come up with their own laws concerning the trade. So that one, there'll be chaos in the ocean. So what is done there? There are those acceptable international conventions which must be adhered to by all ships which are trading in these waters. Then Article 94.6 reports to flag states. As rightly explained by the Hosseini, that is of 209, page 36, that this provision makes it possible for any other state which has grounds to believe that the flagged state has not exercised proper jurisdiction and control with respect to a ship to report the fact to the flagged state. When the flagged state receives such a report, it is to investigate the matter and, if necessary, take remedial actions. You take the remedial actions. So while these provisions call for for the good faith on good faith on the part of the flag states, it also re-emphasizes the exclusive jurisdiction of flag states over the vessels flying its flag on the high seas. So, for example, what I mean there, a ship registered in Panama and has come to Port of Mombasa. Then, on inspection, we find that this ship has not adhered to the rules which are required by the flag state. What will be done? We call the Panama to report that this particular ship, which is flying their flag, has failed to adhere to certain rules of the rules of jurisdiction of the flag state, or it has failed to adhere to the rules of the country in which it is trading at the moment. Okay. The other article is the article 94.7. This is inquiry into marine casualties. Now, these provisions imposes on states the obligation to carry out inquiries before qualified people or persons into every maritime accident of the high sea. This implies to incidents that cause loss of life or serious injury to nationals of another state, or serious damage to ships or installations of another state or the marine environment. So, inquiry to marine casualty, should be done by experts, people who know how to conduct that particular investigation, because remember, this involves compensation, and anything that involves compensation, if you don't table the right report as to what might have led to that particular casualty, then the obvious thing there is that there's no compensation. So experts must be involved in this particular aspect. So the flag state and the other states concerned are to cooperate in the conduct of such inquiry, as stated by the Hosseini of 208, page 35. As appointed out by the Hosseini, a few flag states consistently investigate casualties involving ships registered under their flag in a professional and objective way, which means they normally carry out shoddy jobs. These flag states, they are not very much concerned, okay? And more so the open flag state. So many flag states, however, appear either unable or unwilling to carry out such an investigation. Some may not have the technical infrastructure and the competence to perform the detailed investigations required. Others may be unwilling to dig into the operational practice of a ship, of a ship owner who has significant number of ships registered under their flag in question, under the flag in question. So some people, they might be seeing that this is, if we do this, then we might lose our client, which should not be the case. You see this? Yeah. So whatever the reason, the result is the same. No or inadequate investigation is performed. The IMO, in its bid to encourage cooperation and recognition of mutual interest of states in marine casualties and marine incidents investigation, in 2008, they came up with a new code of international standard and recommended practices for safety investigation into marine casualty or marine incidents. So the observation of the code is stated as being to facilitate objective marine safety investigation for the benefit of the flag state, coastal state, and the IMO and the shipping industry in general. So, in adherence to the provisions of the UNCLOS 3, all shipping countries now adopt a system of registration, because not only it is a precondition for nationality, it is also considered as essential objective test of state jurisdiction of a vessel. So they need that each state, they need to come up with conditions under which they can register their national ships, and they lay their own legislations concerning the management of such vessels. So when a ship of any registration is within the territorial sea, that is 12 nautical miles from the baseline of any country, it can be governed by the law of that state, subject to certain recognized limitations imposed by international law, such as the right of innocent passage without interruption. Okay, so it says that the ships, once it has reached any within the territorial sea, that is 12 nautical miles from the baseline, that is from the port, it is now governed by the law of that country. This is why I was telling you that at that point, the ship, they will now raise the flag of courtesy. They'll start at the topmast, you see your flag. When the ship will be coming, you'll see it is flying the flag of your country, okay, as a sign of respect. Now we are under your legislation, okay. So when the vessel so as I said, that when the vessel is outside the territorial sea and is on the high sea, the laws of the flag state and the general public international law are the only law that apply to it. So the moment imetoka, or it has stepped out your territorial waters, so it is only guided by two laws: the international law and the law of the flag state, okay. But the moment is 12 nautical miles from the baseline, it is guided by three laws: the law of that flag state, the law of the flag state, the law of the international law, and the laws of the country in which it is trading in their waters. Get to take note of that. Now, Article 91(2) of the UNCLOS requires that the flag state not only register ships, but to issue registered vessels with a documentation to prove registration and nationality. So the process of registration results, but is not limited to the allocation of a vessel to a specific state and its subjection to single jurisdiction for the purpose. For example, a safety regulation, security aspects, crewing and discipline on board. Also, we have the conferment of the right to fly the national flag. You are conferred by law. You must fly our flag. Okay. Another one is the right to a diplomatic protection and consular assistance by the flag state. The right to naval protection by the flag state. So they have also the right, like I was telling you, Panama, a ship registered in Panama, maybe a Kenyan registered a ship in Panama, and that ship comes to Kenya. It will be, if there's a problem with it, we will not use, we will not say that I'm a Kenyan and this is my ship. No, the Panamans consular in Kenya is the one who will stand in to defend that ship. Okay. So accordingly, an unregistered ship and a ship that has that sails under more than one flag, using one or other according to the convenience, are regarded as stateless ships. So those ones which have not been registered, those are stateless ships. So as stated by Article 92 of the UNCLOS, a ship which sails under the flag of two or more states, using them according to convenience, may not claim any of the nationalities in the question with respect to any other state, and may be assimilated to a ship without a nationality. So a ship should have one nationality, which means that you are only allowed to sail under one flag at the short mast. That is either at the fore or at the stern. Okay, but if you have two, which means you're stateless, because no state will claim you. And that one to me, I didn't remember. I said a ship should not have two flags of convenience, but it's allowed to have a flag of courtesy and a flag of convenience. Two only. Okay, one at the top, one at the short mast. But if it has two at the short mast, then that ship is regarded as stateless. Now, to open registries, that is a flag of convenience, is a term used to describe the states that sets their standard requirement for registrations to a minimum to attract vessels, especially commercial ships, owners from any part of the world rather than just nationals of that state. So such attractive offers include, but not limited to, easy access registry, transfer from registry is not restricted, there's low taxation, manning of ships by non-nationals of the flag state is permitted, so you're allowed, you can employ any person. Little or no government or international regulations are imposed, nor does the state in question even wish to control the companies themselves. So normally they have got that freedom, and that's why people run away to go and register their ships in foreign countries, because there's that easy access to registry. The transfer from one registry is not restricted. If you wish that the current registry is not performing to you the way you wish, you can transfer to another one. There is no low taxations as opposed to registering into your own country, whereby you'll be charged very high taxes. Manning of the ships by non-nationals of the flag state is permitted, but in some countries, if you register, the first condition will be that employ our people. You see, such like thing. Then also there's little or no government regulations which are being imposed, or does the state in question wish to control the companies themselves. So that freedom makes people to leave their countries and they go to these foreign countries to register. So however, one cannot legally oppose their existence or their right to set the rules for the ship registration, as in that is because Article 91 of the UNCLOS gives every sovereign state the right to decide whom to accord the right to fly its flag and to prescribe the rules governing such grants. So this was illustrated in the case of the Muscat Dhow, that is between the Great Britain and the France, which is seen as a primary and complacent locus classicus. The court, in giving judgment that a state is free to register any vessel regardless of its nationality, set forth a principle that until today is used as a judicial precedent by the court. So there was this particular case here, that is the involving the Muscat Dhow. It was between the Great Britain and the France. It was seen as the primary complacent locus classicus that the court, in giving their judgment, they stated that a state is free to register any vessel regardless of its nationality, set forth a principle that until today is being used as the judicial precedent by the courts. So as international shipping expanded and the shipping industry became one of the most competitive in the world, policies adopted by the flag states on any issue which will affect the running of coastal vessel, that is the crew and the physical matters, also affected the competitive strength of the commercial vessels. So at this point, having a flag state with a favorable and the lax requirements became an advantage. And this consequently brought about the spectacular rise of open registries such as the Panama, we have Liberia, we have Malta, Marshall Islands, etc. As can be expected today, more than a half of the world tonnage sail under the flag of convenience. And the reason is what I highlighted there earlier, that there's easy access, there's no restrictions as to whom you should employ, there's it is easy to transfer from one flag to another, okay? So Article 91(1) of the UNCLOS goes ahead to require that a genuine link be established between the state and the ships apparently trying to control the liberty and the freedom enjoyed by the state in defining ship registration conditions. However, the convention fails to define what exactly constitutes a genuine link, and the Notborn case of 1955, the specific subject matter of the dispute, that the definition of a genuine connection given by the court does not add much to the debate on the meaning of the concept with regard to vessel nationalities either. That is Andrea 206, page 2. Now, the role and objective of flag states are discussed above shows that their primary focus is based on bringing some form of coordination to the maritime industry. So they bring some form of coordination to the maritime industry. They ensure safety as much as possible. They ensure there's safety as much as possible, and to relate closely with the vessel flying its flag. So there's that also that close relation. Okay, the vessel that flying its flag. So to ensure cooperation with international regulations, they also ensure cooperation with international regulations and standard and set penalties for violation severe enough to discourage infringement. Okay. So unfortunately, the master and the other key shipboard personnel in flag of convenience system are not national, and they have no need or incentive to visit the flag state, and therefore can avoid legal action. Remember, these people, they're not the nationals, they are not the Maltians, they are not the Panamanian, they're not the Liberians. Okay, so even though open registries are responsible for a large amount of the world fleet, they have no idea, no desire, and lack the power and administrative machinery to impose regulations that temper economic concerns with the social objectives. So in addition, open registries are accused of being lax in preserving. So they are being accused, these people. They are so lax in preserving the high standard in the terms of safety. So most ships in these open registries are normally involved in a lot of accidents and all that, okay? Marine accidents. So as stated by Coles and White, it is a fact that the most famous and widely publicized maritime disasters have involved vessels registered under the flags of convenience. To mention a couple, the Troy Canyon of 1967 and the Amoko Callis of 1978. So open registries are not interested in exercising responsibility. So you see, these are some of their weaknesses. They don't have that much interest in exercising responsibilities and effective control over vessels, crew trainings, or maintenance by regular surveys and repair. And this should be their mandate. And you see, they are not very much concerned about this. So this laxity is making this the ship operators also to avoid, because remember, these things involves money. Like when you talk about the surveys involves money, repairs involves money. So since they are not very much keen on these, they allow these guys to just be relaxed, and they don't recall their ships to dry dock. And through that aspect, we find that these ships are more vulnerable to accidents because there's no that close provision which is required. So in just 1 year, the vessel registered in Malta had 208 detained ships. This is a very big number, just 207. This is a huge number. Detained ships. And the reasons cited include safety. You see now, safety in general. They're involved in marine pollutions, like the one we experienced the other time here in in Mauritania. Okay, operation deficiencies, and these are coming because they don't do the constant survey that is required. Okay, so you see all these things um, are required that you, as an open registry, you need to exercise jurisdiction over the vessel which you have registered. You need to ensure that the crew who are being employed there are well trained. Okay, you need to ensure that the surveys for these vessels are done. But due to that laxity, it has opened an avenue whereby the ship owners, they are doing what they think. They don't do what is right for them, and through that, a lot of accidents have occurred. Okay, so as we are winding up for our classes for today, one thing you need to take home is that we have types of registry. We have one, there's open registry, and two, we have closed registry. Open registry is a type of registry that allows ships of a foreign country to come and register in a home country. Like, for example, if Kenya offers an open registry, which is not the case, it can allow ships all the way from Europe, rest parts of Africa to come and register here. That is an open registry. Closed registry is only for the ships which belongs to that particular country and not any other. Okay. Then another thing you need to take home is that we have what we call the types of flags which a ship flies. A ship flies two flags. One at the short mast. We call that particular flag as a flag of convenience. And a flag of convenience always states the country in which that vessel was registered. Then at the topmast, we have another flag that is called a flag of courtesy. And the flag of courtesy always is like just a sign of respect to the territorial waters in which you are sailing at that particular moment. Okay. And another thing is that when the ship is 12 nautical miles from the baseline, that is from the port, it will be covered by three laws. One, that is the flag state jurisdiction. Two, it will be covered by the international law. And thirdly, the legislation of the country which it is trading in the water at that moment. By the moment it leaves the port and it has left the territorial boundary of that particular country, it is now guarded by two laws: the flag state legislation and the international law registration. So up to next time, we stop there. As always the case, in case of any questions, use the comment tab there and leave your questions. We'll tackle them in our next tutorial. I hope you enjoyed your tutorial, and like the tutorial. You can subscribe, you can share with your friends. Don't be mean, don't learn alone. Also share it with your friends. Till next time, have a good